The rain fell in relentless sheets, soaking Evelyn Harper's black dress as she stood alone by her grandmother's grave. The headstone read Margaret Harper, beloved mother and grandmother, but to Evelyn she was simply Gran, the only one who ever saw her, truly saw her. Now with Gran gone, the world felt like it was unraveling, and the family's cold dismissal at the funeral had sliced through her like a blade. Evelyn was 28, a graphic designer with a quiet intensity, her chestnut hair now plastered to her face as she lingered in the cemetery. The small town of Willow Creek, Ohio wasn't kind to people like her, lesbian, single and unapologetic. Gran had been her anchor, her confidant, the one who'd slip her extra cookies and whisper, "You're enough, Evie, just as you are." But now, the house Gran left behind was being gutted by relatives who'd barely spoken to her in life. Evelyn's parents, her aunts, her cousins, they descended like vultures, claiming furniture, heirlooms, anything of value. "It's what she would have wanted," her mother had said, not meeting her eyes. Evelyn knew better. Gran had loved her fiercely, even when the family turned their backs on her for coming out at 19. She trudged back to Gran's old house, a modest two-story with peeling paint and creaky floors. The living room was nearly empty now, stripped of Gran's armchair, her oak dining table, even the framed photos of Evelyn as a kid. Her cousin Mark was hauling out a lamp when he spotted her. "You're late, Evie. We're dividing it all up. You want something better, speak now." His tone was clipped, transactional, as if Gran's life could be reduced to objects. Evelyn's throat tightened. She didn't want furniture, she wanted Gran's laugh, her stories, her warmth. But she nodded, stepping inside, her boots leaving muddy prints on the floor. In the attic, where Gran used to let her hide as a teenager, Evelyn found a small wooden box tucked behind a dusty trunk. Her heart stuttered. It was Gran's keepsake box, one she'd never shown anyone. Inside was a letter, a single train ticket to San Francisco, and a faded photo of two women laughing, arms around each other, from decades ago. The letter was addressed to her in Gran's elegant cursive. "For Evie, my brave girl. Go find your home." The ticket was dated for next week, one way, with a note scribbled on it. "Your future's waiting." Evelyn's hands trembled. Gran had known. She'd always known. The next morning, Evelyn sat at the local diner, the ticket burning a hole in her pocket. Willow Creek buzzed with gossip about Gran's will, about Evelyn's lifestyle, about how she'd wasted her degree on freelance art instead of a real job. She sipped her coffee, ignoring the stares, when Clara Nguyen walked in. Clara, 30, was the town's librarian, with sleek black hair and a quiet grace that made Evelyn's heart skip. They'd known each other since high school, orbiting each other with shy smiles and unspoken words. Clara had moved back to Willow Creek 2 years ago after a stint in Chicago, and though they'd never talked about it, Evelyn sensed Clara carried her own secrets. "Hey, Evie," Clara said, sliding into the booth across from her. Her cardigan brushed the table, and her dark eyes held a softness that made Evelyn's chest ache. "I heard about the funeral. I'm so sorry about Gran." Her voice was gentle, but there was something else, concern maybe, or something deeper. Evelyn managed a small smile, her fingers tracing the ticket in her pocket. "Thanks. It's been a lot." She hesitated, then pulled out the ticket and slid it across the table. "Gran left me this." Clara's eyes widened as she read the destination. "San Francisco? Evie, that's huge." She paused, her fingers lingering near Evelyn's. "Are you going?" The question hung between them, heavy with possibility. Evelyn didn't know how to answer. Leaving meant abandoning Willow Creek, her family, the only life she'd known. But staying meant suffocating under their judgment, their whispers, their refusal to see her. Gran's letter echoed in her mind. "Go find your home." Over the next few days, Evelyn and Clara grew closer, meeting at the library after hours, sharing stories under the dim glow of desk lamps. Clara admitted she'd left Chicago after a bad breakup with a woman who'd never fully committed. "I thought I'd find myself here," Clara said one night, her voice barely above a whisper. "But sometimes I feel like I'm hiding." Evelyn understood. She'd been hiding too, from her family, from herself. Yet with Clara she felt seen, like Gran had seen her. Their hands brushed as they shelved books, and once Clara's fingers lingered, sending a spark through Evelyn's veins. But the family wasn't done with her. Her mother called, demanding she sign over Gran's house to keep things fair. You don't need it, Evelyn, she said, her voice sharp. You're not staying, are you? Not with how you are. The word stung, but Evelyn refused. The house was Gran's, and Gran had wanted her to have something. The tension escalated when her uncle showed up, accusing her of stealing Gran's legacy. You're not even normal, he spat, and Evelyn slammed the door, her heart pounding. She clutched the ticket tighter, its edges worn from her constant touch. Clara found her that night, sitting on Gran's porch, tears streaking her face. Without a word, Clara sat beside her, their shoulders touching. You don't have to stay, Evie, she said softly. Gran gave you a way out for a reason. Evelyn looked at her, the moonlight catching Clara's eyes, and something shifted. For the first time she felt like she could breathe. What if I don't want to go alone? She whispered, her voice raw. Clara's breath hitched, and for a moment, the world was just them, the night, and the promise of something more. The air in Willow Creek grew heavier as Evelyn wrestled with her decision. The train ticket sat on Gran's old kitchen table, next to the letter and the photo of those two women from long ago. Evelyn couldn't stop staring at them, their joy, their ease, the way they leaned into each other like the world couldn't touch them. She wondered if Gran had known someone like that, someone who made her feel whole. The thought made her chest ache with longing, for Gran's story she'd never hear, for a life she hadn't yet dared to live. Clara became her refuge. They met daily now, stealing moments in the library or walking along the creek that gave the town its name. Clara's laugh was soft but infectious, and Evelyn found herself memorizing the way her eyes crinkled when she smiled. One afternoon, as they sat on a bench by the water, Clara shared more about Chicago. I thought I'd found love, she said, tossing a pebble into the stream. But she was scared of what it meant to be us. I couldn't stay in a place where I felt like a secret. Evelyn nodded, her heart twisting. She knew that feeling too well. The town's gossip grew louder. At the grocery store, Evelyn overheard whispers about Gran's strange granddaughter, and that librarian who's too friendly. Her cousin Mark cornered her outside the post office, his face red. People are talking, Evie. You're making it worse for yourself hanging around with her. He didn't say Clara's name, but he didn't need to. Evelyn's fists clenched. Mind your own business, Mark, she said, her voice steady despite the tremor inside. He scoffed and walked away, but the encounter left her shaken. Willow Creek wasn't safe, not for her, not for Clara. That night, Evelyn invited Clara to Gran's house. The empty rooms echoed with memories, but Clara's presence filled the space with warmth. They sat on the floor, sharing takeout from the diner, and Evelyn showed her the photo from the box. I think Gran was trying to tell me something, she said, tracing the women's faces. Like she knew I'd need this. Clara's fingers brushed hers as she took the photo, her touch lingering. Maybe she wanted you to know you're not alone, Clara said, her voice soft but certain. Their eyes met, and for a moment Evelyn forgot the town, the family, the weight of it all. But the pressure didn't let up. Her mother showed up the next day, her face pinched with disapproval. You're not keeping this house, Evelyn. It's not right. Gran wouldn't have wanted this. This mess. Evelyn's temper flared. Gran loved me. She left me the ticket, not you. Her mother's eyes narrowed. You're throwing away your family for what? A fantasy? That Nguyen girl. The words cut deep, but Evelyn stood her ground. This is my home, she said. And I'm done pretending for you. Her mother left without another word, but the rift was final. Clara helped Evelyn dig through Gran's things, searching for more clues about the ticket. They found an old journal in the attic, its pages yellowed but filled with Gran's handwriting. One entry, dated 1975, stopped them cold. I loved her, but I couldn't follow her. I stayed for family, for duty. Don't make my mistake, Evie. Evelyn's breath caught. Gran had loved a woman, had chosen to stay in Willow Creek, had buried her heart to keep the peace. The ticket wasn't just a gift, it was Gran's redemption, her way of giving Evelyn the chance she'd never taken. The discovery brought Evelyn and Clara closer, their conversations turning to dreams, fears, and what San Francisco might hold. Clara admitted she'd always wanted to live somewhere vibrant, where she could be herself without looking over her shoulder. I've been saving up, she said one night, her voice hesitant. I could go with you. Evelyn's heart raced, but fear crept in. What if Clara changed her mind? What if San Francisco was just another place to hide? Yet when Clara's hand found hers warm and steady, Evelyn felt a spark of courage. The family's interference escalated. Her uncle filed a legal claim on the house, arguing Gran's will was unclear. Evelyn hired a lawyer, draining her savings, but the stress was relentless. One night, someone spray-painted "Freak" on Gran's porch. Evelyn scrubbed it off until her hands bled, tears mixing with the paint. Clara stayed by her side, her presence a quiet strength. "You're not alone in this," Clara said, her voice fierce. "I'm here." And in that moment, Evelyn knew she wasn't just fighting for Gran's house or the ticket. She was fighting for a future, for her and Clara, for the life Gran had wanted for her. The days blurred into a haze of legal papers and whispered threats. Evelyn's lawyer warned her the family's claim on Gran's house was gaining traction. Her uncle had rallied relatives to argue Evelyn was unfit to inherit. The town's judgment weighed heavier, with glares at the market and notes slipped under her door. "Leave, sinner." But Clara was her constant, her anchor. They spent evenings planning, dreaming of San Francisco's foggy streets and vibrant communities, where they could walk hand in hand without fear. One night, as they sat in Gran's nearly empty living room, Clara pulled out her laptop and showed Evelyn photos of the Castro District rainbow flags, bustling cafes, couples like them living openly. "This could be us," Clara said, her voice trembling with hope. Evelyn's heart swelled, but doubt gnawed at her. "What if it's not enough?" she asked. "What if we leave and it's still hard?" Clara took her hand, her grip firm. "It'll be hard anywhere, Evie. But we'd be together." The words lit something inside Evelyn, a fragile but growing flame. The harassment intensified. Evelyn's car tires were slashed, and Clara found a brick through the library's window with a note. "You don't belong." The police dismissed it as kids being kids, but Evelyn saw the truth in Clara's pale face. They weren't just fighting family now, they were fighting Willow Creek itself. Evelyn wanted to run, to board the train and never look back, but Clara hesitated. "I've got my job, my parents here," she said, her voice torn. "I want to go, but I need time." Evelyn nodded, hiding her fear that Clara might stay behind. Gran's journal became their solace. They read it together, uncovering more of her hidden life. A passage from 1980 described a woman named Lily, Gran's brightest star, who'd left for San Francisco to live freely. Gran had stayed, bound by family expectations, and the regret seeped through every word. "I should have gone with her," Gran wrote. "I chose safety, but it wasn't living." Evelyn traced the words, her resolve hardening. She wouldn't repeat Gran's mistake. She'd fight for the ticket, for Clara, for herself. The court date loomed, and Evelyn's lawyer uncovered a bombshell. Gran's will had a codicil, a hidden clause naming Evelyn as the sole heir to the house and the ticket. Her uncle's claim was baseless, but the family refused to back down, accusing Evelyn of forging it. The legal fees piled up, and Evelyn's savings dwindled to nothing. Clara offered to help, dipping into her own savings, but Evelyn refused. "This is my fight," she said, though she hated the distance it created between them. Clara's eyes flashed with frustration. "It's our fight, Evie. Let me in." That night they argued for the first time. Clara wanted to confront the town, to stand up at a community meeting and call out the hatred. Evelyn, exhausted, begged her to stay safe. "You don't get it," Clara snapped. "I'm tired of being quiet. I want to be with you, out in the open, no matter where we are." Evelyn froze, her heart pounding. Clara's words weren't just about Willow Creek, they were about them. About a future Evelyn was too scared to fully embrace. She reached for Clara's hand, her voice breaking. "I'm sorry. I'm terrified of losing you." Clara softened, pulling her close. "You won't," she whispered. "But we have to choose this together." The next day, Evelyn found a new letter at the house, slipped under the door. It wasn't hateful, it was from Gran's old friend, Mrs. Ellis, who'd known her for decades. "Your grandmother loved you more than you know," it read. "She told me about the ticket. She wanted you to find what she couldn't." Attached was a phone number for a woman named Lily Harper in San Francisco. Evelyn's breath caught. Gran's Lily was alive. She showed Clara, and they called together, hands shaking. Lily's voice was warm, weathered, and full of love for Gran. "She wanted you to have a chance," Lily said. "Come to San Francisco. I'll help you start. The call changed everything. Evelyn and Clara spent hours talking, planning, daring to hope. Clara admitted she'd been scared to leave her family, but Lily's words echoed Gran's. Don't choose safety over living. They decided to go together, to board the train and build a life in San Francisco. But the family's legal fight wasn't over, and the court date was days away. Evelyn knew it would be a battle not just for the house, but for her right to exist as herself. Clara squeezed her hand, her eyes fierce. We'll face it together, she said. And for the first time, Evelyn believed they could. The courtroom in Willow Creek was small, stuffy, and packed with townsfolk eager for drama. Evelyn sat at the plaintiff's table, her lawyer beside her, the train ticket tucked safely in her pocket. Clara was in the front row, her presence a quiet strength, though her eyes betrayed her worry. Evelyn's family sat across the aisle, her uncle, mother, and cousins, their faces hard with resentment. They'd painted her as ungrateful, unnatural, unfit to inherit Gran's legacy. But Evelyn clung to Gran's words. Go find your home. The judge, an older man with a stern face, reviewed the codicil. Evelyn's lawyer argued it was airtight, written in Gran's hand, notarized years ago. Her uncle's lawyer countered, claiming Gran was manipulated by Evelyn's influence. The accusation stung, but Evelyn kept her gaze steady, refusing to let them see her break. Clara's hand twitched as if she wanted to reach out, and that alone kept Evelyn grounded. Testimony dragged on. Her mother took the stand, her voice cold. Evelyn's always been difficult, she said. She doesn't respect family values. The words were a knife, but Evelyn didn't flinch. Then Mrs. Ellis testified, her voice trembling but clear. Margaret Harper loved Evelyn fiercely. She left her that ticket to give her a chance at happiness, something Margaret never had. The courtroom murmured, and Evelyn's heart swelled. Gran's love was her shield, even now. The turning point came when Evelyn took the stand. She spoke of Gran's kindness, her acceptance, the journal that revealed her sacrifice. She stayed in Willow Creek for family, Evelyn said, her voice steady despite the tears. But she wanted me to be free. That ticket is her blessing. The judge's expression softened, and for the first time, Evelyn felt hope. Clara's eyes shone with pride, and Evelyn knew win or lose they'd leave together. The judge ruled in Evelyn's favor. The house and ticket were hers, the codicil upheld. Her family stormed out, their anger palpable, but Evelyn felt lighter than she ever had. Outside the courthouse, Clara pulled her into a hug, their first in public. You did it, Clara whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Evelyn laughed through tears. We did it. But the victory was bittersweet. Her family's rejection was final, and Willow Creek would never be home again. They returned to Gran's house, now legally Evelyn's, and began packing. Clara quit her job at the library, her decision final after weeks of doubt. They found more of Gran's keepsakes, letters, trinkets, a locket with a photo of Lily inside. Evelyn mailed the locket to Lily with a note. Thank you for loving Gran. We're coming. The response came quickly. Your family now. I'll be waiting. Evelyn and Clara cried as they read it, their hands entwined, their future taking shape. But Willow Creek wasn't done with them. The night before their departure, a group of teenagers egged the house, shouting slurs. Evelyn and Clara cleaned up in silence, their resolve unshaken. They can't stop us, Clara said, her voice fierce. Evelyn nodded, but fear lingered. San Francisco was a dream, but it was also unknown. What if they failed? What if love wasn't enough? Clara seemed to sense her doubt, pulling her close. We're enough, she said, echoing Gran's words. And in that moment, Evelyn believed her. The morning of the train, they stood at the station, bags packed, the ticket in Evelyn's hand. Willow Creek's platform was nearly empty, the town's rejection palpable. But Clara's hand in hers was warm, real, a promise. They boarded the train, finding seats by the window, and as it pulled away, Evelyn watched Willow Creek fade. She thought of Gran, of Lily, of the life they were chasing. Clara leaned her head on Evelyn's shoulder, and for the first time, Evelyn felt like she was moving toward something, not running away. The train rumbled west, carrying them toward San Francisco, toward Lily, toward a community that might embrace them. Evelyn pulled out Gran's journal, reading aloud to Clara about her hopes, her regrets, her love for Lily. Each word felt like a bridge, connecting Gran's past to their future. "We're going to make it," Clara said, her voice soft but certain. Evelyn smiled, squeezing her hand. "Yeah," she said. "We are." San Francisco greeted them with fog and a vibrancy that felt like a new world. Evelyn and Clara stepped off the train, their hands clasped, the ticket now a cherished relic in Evelyn's bag. Lily met them at the station, a woman in her 70s with silver hair and Grand's same warm eyes. She hugged them both, her embrace fierce and welcoming. "Margaret would be so proud," she said, her voice cracking. Evelyn felt Grand's presence in that moment, guiding her still. They stayed with Lily in her small apartment in the Castro, its walls covered with photos of her and Gran from decades past. Lily shared stories how she and Gran had met in college, how they dreamed of a life together, how Gran had chosen family over love. "She never stopped loving you, Evelyn," Lily said, handing her a letter Gran had written years ago, never sent. It was a confession of her regrets, her hopes for Evelyn to live boldly. Evelyn read it through tears, Clara's hand on her back, and felt a weight lift. Gran's love wasn't just a memory, it was a legacy. Evelyn and Clara found work, Evelyn as a freelance designer, Clara at a community library. The city embraced them, its streets alive with people who didn't flinch at their clasped hands or stolen kisses. They rented a tiny studio, its windows overlooking a park where rainbow flags fluttered. It wasn't perfect, money was tight, and doubts crept in during quiet moments, but together, they were unstoppable. They laughed over late-night coffee, danced at pride events, and built a life that felt like home. One evening they visited a memorial in the Castro, a tribute to those lost to hate and struggle. Evelyn left a photo of Gran there alongside a note, "Thank you for my ticket to hope." Clara added a flower, her hand finding Evelyn's. "She's with us," Clara said, and Evelyn nodded, feeling Gran's love in every step they took. They weren't just surviving, they were thriving. Their love a defiance of Willow Creek's shadows. Years later, Evelyn and Clara stood at their wedding, surrounded by friends, Lily, and a community that celebrated them. Evelyn wore Gran's locket, a reminder of the woman who'd given her courage. Their vows echoed Gran's words, "You're enough just as you are." As they kissed, the crowd cheered, and Evelyn felt a peace she'd never known. Gran's ticket hadn't just brought them to San Francisco, it had brought them to each other, to a life where love wasn't a secret, but a triumph. The house in Willow Creek was sold, the money used to start a scholarship for queer youth, named after Gran. Evelyn and Clara visited sometimes, leaving flowers at her grave, thanking her for the ticket that changed everything. They'd found their home, not just in San Francisco but in each other. And in every moment, every laugh, every tear, every quiet morning together they honored Gran's hope, living the life she'd always wanted for them.